talking about why fake it till you make it doesn't work for INFJs. We've heard this so many times if you look into mainstream media that you just have to fake it and then it will become true. If you don't believe it, just tell it to yourself. Continue to tell yourself that story that you already love your body, that you love your career path, that your life is going amazing and things are going to change. But the thing is this, we as INFJs are so connected to our unconscious self, to our subconscious system, that we already know that it doesn't matter what you tell yourself if you don't believe it. And if you're in a position where you don't like your body, you don't like your relationship or your work situation or whatever it is, and you tell yourself that you do, it's not going to change anything. So the thing is this, you can say all the things you want and they're not going to make anything happen in your life. And you can also be like most INFJs who know that this isn't going to happen, so they don't even try. In both cases, it's not going to change your reality. But there's a strategy to approaching the fake it till you make it method in such a way that it makes sense for us INFJs. So you feel like, okay, I'm actually making progress. I'm changing my belief system and therefore I'm changing my life. We're going to talk about that today in detail. Remember, if you want my personal help with this, then work with me one-on-one. All the information you find in the link in the description. When you read about the fake it till you make it method, there are a lot of approaches where it sounds rather vague or it's really all about pretending to be somebody that you're not. And very often you see people who do this that they struggle, that they feel like I'm lying to myself and I'm lying to others. And you can sense that in their energy. That's not what we want. That's why we very often don't even go that way. But there is something about that method. It's not like there's no basis in it. The point is that if you can tell yourself a story often enough, it will come true. You will believe it. But this only works if you find that part in yourself that actually believes that story. And if the discrepancy between how you feel about yourself and your life, your circumstance, and the thing you want to believe, the discrepancy is that big, you're not going to make that jump. You're actually going to repel that thing that you want. And I'm not just talking on some esoteric, energetic level. I'm talking about, you know that this is a lie. You know that this is not true. And we're way too honest and truthful to tell a lie like this to ourselves or to others. You know, you'll see people who actually have a success with this method, but it's because they, by accident, sort of tap into the right mindset here. If you, for example, tell yourself, oh, I love my body, and you actually don't. You dislike everything about yourself. A person who might not be an INFJ might tell themselves that story over and over again. And yeah, maybe at some point there's going to be a shift in the belief system, because by you saying this over and over again, you start maybe also taking some action. You start really pushing with it, and then you say, okay, I'm just going to do things that I would do if I would love my body. And then maybe at some point you catch this point where it's not faking it anymore. You start really loving your body. But that's a huge gap to bridge, and it's not something that most people are ever able to do. So a lot of people waste time with that process when it doesn't help you to become the person who actually loves their body. Because we all know that's what it takes. If you were a person who had like some kind of body issue and you really loved your body, everything would change. You would start eating healthy because you love your body. You would work out because you love your body. You would sleep enough. You know, it's a whole system that is connected to that. Same thing goes to, let's say you have a new job opportunity you want to take on, and you start writing applications, and deep down you believe, I'm not going to find a job. I'm not. And you can tell yourself over and over again, I'm going to find a job. I'm going to find a job. If you don't believe this, then you're probably not going to give your best when it comes to this application. You will not try your hardest. You will not improve your application skills. You will not really enjoy the process, because deep down there's this fear attached to this that, of course, it's a lie. I'm never going to get a job. And so, yeah, maybe on some level you're going to find a job, because even if you send out, let's say, 100 really bad applications, at some point you're gonna get something. But we as INFJs know this this isn't the right way. We know it's a lie, so we don't even write those 100 applications. And of course, there's a faster way. That's what we're going to talk about today. And this is perfect for us because we're not going to go the first direction that isn't really getting us there, maybe by accident. But the thing that actually works is if we understand that we have to go steps that are in between where we are now and where we want to be. So let's take that example of the body, love, body issues, whatever it is. You probably don't believe at that moment, I love my body. But what do you believe that is better than I hate everything about me? Might it be I'm open to loving myself? May it be that you say, I'm open to having a positive connection with myself. May it be that you say, I'm ready to change my self-image. That is something that you can tell yourself and you can believe it. Because once you get to a point where this thing that you can sort of believe becomes your main thing, when this becomes your new ground zero, your new place to start, it becomes your baseline, you can then go to the next step, which might be, I'm loving myself more and more every day. And before you know it, you say, I'm loving myself more and more every day. And because of that, I add one little thing every single day that makes me feel better about myself. Before you know it, you will actually get to a point where you honestly love yourself and you feel it. It's not just something you say here and your emotions are at a completely different place. No, they're connected. And that's the only thing that matters, how you feel about something. It has to be something that is all in your body that you know to be true. And once you get there, then a lot of things will shift. We can also look at this from the applications process, right? So let's say you're in a position where you say, okay, I'm really afraid I'm gonna lose my job. I need to start writing applications, but I don't think I'll find anything better. And you tell yourself, how am I going to get to a place where I honestly believe there's a job out there for me, where people are respecting me, a job which I will love, a place where people will be happy to work with me, and it's something that I'll find without having to be in a position where I'm not getting any income from my current job. That is the place you want to get to, because once you get to this place, you're really gonna find that job. See, the thing is this, we have so many opportunities. There's such abundance everywhere around us. We just don't see it. We don't see it because our limiting beliefs are keeping us there. Once you make that shift, all the opportunities are right in front of your eyes and you ask yourself, how did I not see this? I experienced this myself over and over again because this isn't something that happens once. You always get to the next level and then you realize, oh, how was I not able to see what the next step was? And now it's so evident. If you know this is going to happen, then every single time you're looking out for that and you can do the steps that will get you there. So we want to get to this place where we honestly believe we're going to find that job. That will happen when you start telling yourself, yes, I might not believe that I'm going to find a job, but I also believe that I'm not going to give up on myself. Meaning, I might not believe that I'll find a job, but I keep on writing applications because I want to be proud of myself. I want to be proud of the fact that I went and I tried. Because if they don't take me, that's on them. But if I don't try, that's on me. That's a first step. That's a belief you can hold on to. The next thing can be, I believe that I will improve every single application I send out. You might say, oh, how can I do this? Well, it can be just the way you phrase a sentence, but that's something that you actually believe in. I believe I can improve every single application I send out. I believe that I will send out an application every single week. Before you know it, this has become your new go-to. You're focusing on what you believe in, and then you go to the next level. The next step could be, if I send out 100 applications, yes, I'll definitely find a job no matter what's going on. Once you get to this place, you will see it won't take 100 applications. It will take much less than that. But it's a step-by-step process. You're not lying to yourself. You're not telling yourself, oh, I'll find this job, when you don't really believe in that. You go for the next step that you can believe. That's how you change your mindset. That's how you change your belief system. And that is how you change your life. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on how the INFJ finally gets unstuck.